There you go. Oh, before we get started, I have to mention to everybody that we're acknowledging that this meeting is being recorded. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guest and honorary guest. It's getting a little chilly out there, isn't there? I had to actually wear my jacket today, even indoors, while Hian is at the beach. It looks like she has a nice background there. But as we get our meeting started, I'm going to ask everybody here let's do our best to avoid any distractions. Let's get started with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I believe our President Shastri is here. I think I saw him somewhere. Yes, he is. So I will pass it on to our President, Shastri Stewart.
Hello. Hi, good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
We hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. All right. Can you see me?
Yes.
Yes,
All
we
right.
can.
All right. Perfect. All right. Welcome back to a wonderful Monday night meeting. Pleasure to see all your smiling faces. I'm always looking forward to see the hairstyle Michelle has every week. So I believe we have one guest, Thierry. Hi, Thierry. How are you doing?
Correction.
Wonderful
we
always. How is everyone doing?
Very good. Very good. Could you just
Correction.
introduce
We
yourself
actually have
to-
several guests today. Several guests.
Oh, we do. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we do have several guests. Awesome. All right. So, Thierry, you're first. Introduce yourself to the group.
Hi, I'm actually a guest of Mike Cantave. That's my brother. So I am just catching in from Canada. I actually had attended one of the sessions pre-COVID Toastmasters clubs and wanted to revisit. I have a few friends here that are coming online as well. They wanted to improve their speaking capabilities and abilities. And so I suggested that they join in and find out a little bit more about what you guys are doing.
Appreciate it. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, pleasure's all mine.
All right. Danny, introduce yourself to the group.
Hello, everyone. Denny, I'm a guest here. I tend to appear every so often. I'm in the area. I was exposed to this wonderful group through Mike, who is a wonderful guy. All right. We should all thank him for, bringing the fam together. Me and my godfather, that is, Cherry, and all the friends that we're now bringing on and just making this group even ever so lovely, right? Right? Love that.
Awesome. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Sabir? Hopefully I said that correctly.
No, that's good. It's Sabir. Pretty close. Hi everyone. Again, my name is Sabir Syed. I actually registered for this. I found this group online and I registered for it through the website. So that's how I came about.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoy, take notes, because we will be asking you questions and feedback at the end of the meeting. All right, without any further ado, let me introduce our one and only, our Toastmaster of the day, Shay Greaves.
Thank you, President Shastri. I'd also like to acknowledge, can you pronounce your name? Is it Mary Lou Evangelista?
Hi, thank you so much. Yes, it is. Excellent. Excellent. Yes, Mary Lou Evangelista. I'm also from Canada.
Okay.
So
Are you there now?
I am.
Okay. Awesome. Well, welcome.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. I just muted myself. Sorry. The theme for tonight's meeting is the big ripple effect. I'd like to ask Toastmaster Mike to give us 10 seconds of what Toastmasters has given you.
Well, Toastmaster, thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Ms. Shea. And Toastmaster has given me perspective and has allowed me to see many of my blind spots that I was not able to see myself. And I've also taken a lot of the habits and feedback that I've gathered here in this group in other areas of my life. Unfortunately, I had to attend a funeral and I had to give the eulogy not too long ago. And the entire time as I was practicing what I was going to say, the feedback and the tips that I received from Toastmasters kept coming front and center and allowed me to, I believe, deliver my eulogy more effectively.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mike. And Toastmaster Michelle Hill, what has Toastmasters given you? 10 seconds.
Toastmaster of the day, 2 things. First, self-awareness of how I speak and my environment. And secondly, to be open to constructive criticisms and to know the difference between opinions and advice. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Michelle Hill. I called on them today to acknowledge that not only their choice to join Toastmasters has positioned them for growth, but the impact of our group contributing, as Toastmaster Mike said, the feedback that he received. As Toastmaster Michelle said, awareness, it brought awareness and perspective. So I want to remind us of the big ripple effect that each one of our choices has on the whole group as a whole. The quote that I have for you today is, "The idea that everything is purposeful really changes the way that you live. To think that everything you do has a ripple effect, that every word that you speak, every action that you make affects other people in the planet." I'd like to call on Toastmaster. As Toastmaster of the Day, I serve as your Master of Ceremonies. For the benefit of our guests and new members, a traditional Toastmaster meeting has 3 sections: formal speeches, table topics, and evaluations. I'd like to call on some of the rules that help our meeting function smoothly. Sonia Harate, please, as our owl counter.
Certainly, Toastmaster of the Day. As the counter, I will note any word or sound used as a crutch by anyone who speaks during the meeting. You will hear this sound if there is a long pause, a double start, or you use fillers like and ah. You will hear the sound for the first 3 infractions. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonia Harate. Toastmaster Hyun Green, please explain your role as grammarian, word master. So she is having trouble with her internet for today. The word of the day is, we're going to actually revisit that. Toastmaster Michelle Gonzalez, please explain your role as general timer.
Toastmaster of the day, I'm responsible for monitoring time for each speaker. I operate the timing signal to indicate speech length. Timing begins with the first definite verbal or non-verbal communication with the audience. As the general timer, whomever is speaking and has control of the meeting, please pay attention to the red color behind me, as it means you get to wrap up where you are as quickly, professionally, and efficiently as possible. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Michelle Hill. I'd like to call on Toastmaster Gary Newper. Please explain your role for today.
Toastmaster of the Day. The Topics Master gives members who are not assigned a significant speaking role the opportunity to speak during the meeting. I will challenge each member with a subject and they will respond with a 1 to 2 minute impromptu speech. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gary. Toastmaster Justin Gwynn, please explain your role for today's meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. If one thinks of a club meeting as a project, then think of the general evaluator as the quality control manager. I'll be commenting on the overall flow of today's meeting and giving feedback. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Justin. And last but definitely not least, Toastmaster Hyun Green.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am taking two roles, grammarian and word master. As grammarian, I will be listening for good use of English words and grammar and erroneous use of English words and grammar. And as word master, I'm going to see how many times and by whom the word conquer will be used tonight. Conquer. Toastmasters are trained to conquer the fear of public speaking.
I'm on mute. Thank you, Toastmaster Hyun Green. The first portion of our meeting is formal speeches, which we are prepared. So they're prepared speeches based on specific projects in our communication manuals, our Pathways program. This evening, we have a total of 3 speeches. Toastmaster Stacy, please provide us with the project information for our first speaker.
Hey, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, fellow guests and our Toastmaster. Am I echoing? Can you hear that echo?
Yes, there's some feedback.
Let me lower that. Is that better? Nope. I just heard it. I may have to redial in, but I'm just going to repeat this anyway. The purpose of Shastri Stewart's project tonight is for him to understand the types of persuasive speeches and deliver a persuasive speech. The title of Shastri's speech is The Human Immune System. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Shastri, you'll have to unmute.
Good evening.
Oh,
Madam Toastmaster.
Excuse me. Sorry, Shastri. I'll just read your intro. Toastmaster Shastri will be taking us into the fascinating world of the immune system of the human body. Toastmaster Shastri.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and friends of Wellington Toastmasters and guests. The human body is the most complex system ever created. The more we learn about it, the more appreciation we have about the rich system it is. Bill Gates. Now, before we delve into this subject, it is important to know the purpose of the immune system. The immune system is designed to attack and kill germs to keep us healthy. The immune system is also made up of several organs and systems such as the bone marrow, where white blood cells are created, or the technical term, leukocytes. The lymphatic vessels is a network of channels throughout the body that carries lymphocytes to the lymphoid organs and bloodstream. The lymph nodes are small organs shaped like beans, which are located throughout the body and connect via the lymphatic vessels. The spleen filters the blood, and the thymus are where lymphocytes matures into B and T cells. Now imagine walking outside, enjoying a beautiful Florida day, when suddenly you step on a nail. Immediately, the immune system will respond. The first to the scene will be the macrophages. Breach, breach, breach. They are the first responders of the body and can devour up to 100 intruders each. They will swallow the intruder whole and trap it inside this membrane, and then the enemy gets broken down by enzymes. They'll also cause inflammation by ordering the blood vessels to release water, so fighting becomes easier. After fighting for a while, the macrophages, they'll call for backup by releasing messenger proteins that communicates location and urgency. Now, after receiving the signal from the macrophages, the neutrophil will leave their patrol in the blood and they head to the battlefield. The neutrophils are like the soldiers of the body. They fight so aggressively that they damage good cells as well. So they are created with a time clock of 5 days. After 5 days, these cells will commit suicides to avoid causing damage to good cells. Now, if this is not enough to conquer the threat, then the dendritic cells become active. They're like the generals. These cells will respond to the signal from the soldiers and rush to the battlefield to collect samples of the intruder and expose them on the outer shell. Now, once the dendritic cells decide what type of troops are needed, whether bacterial or viral, it will then travel to the lymph nodes where billions of helper and killer T cells are awaiting activation. Now, when T cells are born, they go through an exceedingly difficult training program and only 25% survives. Once the helper T cell is activated by the dendritic cell, it duplicates, and some of these cells remain as memory cells, which help remember the makeup of the bacteria or virus. Now, there are some that will enter the battlefield, and others will activate virgin B cells in the lymph nodes. These B cells are my favorite because they live fast and dangerously. They produce a huge amount of antibody to fight the virus or bacteria. Now, the helper T cells will provide battlefield support to the B cells and help keep them alive longer if necessary. The body is so efficient that the B cells die as soon as the battle is over, as to not waste the body's energy. The truth is that I have been in a nihilistic state of mind for a couple weeks. Sometimes things happen to the best people, and you cannot help but ask yourself why. Why is the purpose of this? Why are we here? What is the point? These thoughts infected my mind like the plague. Then I decided to do some research on the immune system, and I was utterly blown away. Science is constantly looking at the heavens for the theory of everything, or as Einstein said, to read the mind of God. But we lack the knowledge about the vessel we occupy. Human nature is always looking for answers on the outside, when all we need to do is look inward. Maybe our reason for being is like the B cells, serving a purpose even though we do not comprehend the full magnitude of our contribution. As with our theme, just as our cells cause a ripple effect in the body, so can our purpose cause a ripple effect in the universe. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shastri. What a powerful parallel or metaphor between the body and our impact to the world. So I'm a big one for metaphors. Thank you, Toastmaster Shastri. Calling on Toastmaster Mike Cantave. Please provide us with the project information for our second speaker.
Toastmaster of the day. Looks like our second speaker is going to be Miss Micheline. And I did not receive the information for her speech in time. However, I look forward to being the evaluator of Toastmaster Micheline.
Thank you. The title of Micheline's speech is Wellington Toastmasters. Her speech is delivering a social speech. The time frame is 3 to 4 minutes. Micheline is a proud mother of 3 and is grateful for all the blessings she has experienced in her life this year. She is enjoying growth and the new beginnings the Wellington Toastmasters family is exposing her to. Let's welcome warmly Micheline Nimbar.
Good evening, Wellington Toastmasters. I'm on mute.
You're good, Micheline.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay. Saying I'm on mute. Good evening, Wellington Toastmasters. I would like to acknowledge each of you for your support through my journey. Why did I join Toastmasters? Before I give you the reason why I did, I'm just going to give you a little background of my story. I'm a very proud introvert, and I do not like public speaking. Matter of fact, I despise public speaking and any social gathering with others that I do not know. Reality hit, and I woke up. It was evident that I can no longer run from it, and I needed to conquer the fear of public speaking. I started researching for small public speaking groups in my area, and I keep getting the Wellington Toastmasters Club in my search. I completely ignore them, and I refused to sign up because I felt it was too big. I just wanted a small group that I can fit in, the introvert that I am. So I signed up to take an evening class at one of the Palm Beach public high schools. Guess what? The teacher that taught that class was a Wellington Toastmasters member for several years. So not only did I pass up the opportunity of signing up on my own, I had to endure 9 long weeks of her bragging about the club. Guess what? You thought it. I joined the Wellington Toastmasters Club immediately after completing those 9 weeks. And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I jumped in, I took on various roles slowly, and then I was pushed gently into certain big roles. Surprisingly, I started to feel my self-confidence. Yes, my confidence. You allowed me to be myself without any judgment, display my creativity and talents in the awkward sense, like cheerleading for one of my speeches. You are motivating, inspiring, encouraging, nurturing, empowering my communication and leadership skills. I am a much better version of myself because of your support and positive feedback each week. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Micheline. It has been amazing and an honor to see your growth, even since I first joined. So thank you for reflecting that and taking us on that journey through your speech. Next, I'd like to call on Toastmaster Brendan. Brendan McCauley, please provide us with the project information for our third speaker.
Thank you, Toastmaster. As far as what I was able to view on the actual Toastmaster site, it does not come with a project description for Mark. However, he is doing the humorously speaking pathway, and his goal is to keep them laughing for 5 to 7 minutes with the project title of The Craziest Job I've Ever Had. So thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Brendan McCauley. Toastmaster Michelle Gonzalez, please give us the timing signals for this speech. Oh, you're on mute.
Toastmaster of the day. I'll display the green card at 5 minutes. You didn't indicate the length of time. I assume it's 5 to 7 minutes today.
It is 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you kindly. At 5 minutes, I will display the green. At 6 minutes, I will display the yellow. And at 7 minutes, I will display this red. And I'll clap you off gently at 7.30 seconds. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Michelle. The Craziest Job I Ever Had is a speech title for Toastmaster Mark Kessler. Mark's lifelong dream is to perform a Toastmaster speech at a nudist colony on Arbor Day. Mark Kessler is featured in multiple publications on the planet Zerk. It's my pleasure to introduce world-renowned speaker Mark Kessler in his own mind. Please welcome Mark as he attempts to keep you laughing for 5 to 7 minutes.
Good evening, Toastmasters and brand new guests. I'd like to make a certain point tonight. The point is, think about your younger days. What might have been the craziest job you ever had? Will it bring a smile to your face? Will it make you think, I can't even believe I even did that? Well, let me tell you about my story. My story goes like this. Some of the craziest jobs I ever had were based around 3 different areas. Number 1, I was young and ambitious. 2, I wanted to make quick money fast. And 3, I wanted to do the least amount and have the most fun while doing these jobs. It's pretty normal, right? I had an LTD car, which was a Ford, and most times Ford stood for found on road dead. In that case, I knew I needed to have money at hands at most of the time. With that, I started off very young in my career of working. I started off at 12 years old, working in an Italian restaurant, washing dishes with a very violent Italian cook. He would literally throw the pots at me and say, heads up, here it comes, but in Italian. So you never really knew until you understood the language. There were other jobs that I took on. There was another job that I took on where I was a parts puller in a junkyard, driving around in a 78 Capri, riding around with no doors, looking for parts to try to pull off for customers. It was all exciting, not very much paying job back then. And minimum wage was probably around $4.25 an hour. I had to do a lot of work in order to get the money that I needed to keep cars running and gas in the fuel tank. With that in mind, one of the craziest jobs I ever had was working in a golf course floating lake. Why I chose that job? Hey, what better job could you imagine? Riding around in a boat, picking up golf balls that were floating around, right? So I really kind of enjoyed it. The problem with that was these guys were using me as a moving target. Told my boss, listen, this is crazy. These guys aren't even shooting for like their best hit. They're trying to shoot for me. So immediately we demanded that we're going to build a cage around this boat. It was already topsy-turvy as it was, but we built this huge cage. And now these guys felt really confident about it. It's okay to shoot at Mark while he's running out there trying to pick up golf balls. The point of the matter is here, I tried to find a way easy money to make in my younger days because I wanted to enjoy my younger days as well. Knowing that I was going to be putting in for the 40-40-40 at that point in time. I wasn't college bound, I was work bound, trying to be that, entrepreneur in life. The 40-40-40. How many of you are familiar with the 40-40-40? All right, we got one in the room, couple there. Work 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life and retire with 40% of that money, right? Never happened. I'm 56 years old and I'm already hitting that mark. And guess what? I'm still working, looking for those glory days. I'm going to get it though. So those years and days are gone. But I do have a great quote and philosophy about working in these days and age. I say, give yourself 100% to the job. How many of you agree with that? Right? 12% on Monday, 23% on Tuesday, 40% on Wednesday, 20% on Thursday, and 5% on Friday, right? That's my full 100%. At least that was what my notion was back in the day when I was a kid. Either or, either way you look at it, I learned a lot of great lessons working in the field and working for myself as an entrepreneur. It gave me a lot of great motivation to know that if it's going to get done 100% of the time, it's possible. If it's going to get done, it's up to you to get it done. So I took a lot of this time on myself to work hard, get a great work ethic in doing it, and conquer the workforce and create the life I wanted to create. It has a huge ripple effect if you look at it. The ripple effect shows that the hard work that you put out there will pay itself in pleasure in what you do, understanding the jobs that you perform, creating businesses to help support others to learn while they grow. But most importantly, understanding and knowing that Friday will eventually come, and knowing that there's a weekend to relax into what you're here for. Work hard through the week and make it possible to relax on the weekend and enjoy yourself. Have a purpose. But with all this said, I really wanted to share with you the fact that if you can't have fun with while you're working, why bother doing it at all? Stop, look, and choose a whole new direction for where you can make the fun in your life. Don't make the job a workplace. Have the job be your fun place or the career that you're working in. And with that, my fellow Toastmasters, I conclude with this evening's speech. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mark Kessler. I totally agree. Your work should be your fun place. That's the way it should be. And now, Toast General Timer. I'd like to ask if all our speeches were in time.
Toastmaster of the day, all speeches were in time. However, Michelle Lynn's time was under. I don't know if that counts, but it was under 5 minutes.
Okay.
My speech was 3 to 4 minutes.
Oh, because I was not advised, I do apologize.
Okay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Michelle Hill. The second section of our meeting is table topics. This is an opportunity for members to develop their extemporaneous speaking skills. Guests are encouraged to participate. Guests, would you like to participate? So we have Mary Lou, we have Theory, Denny, and Sabir. Would you like to participate today? I'll take that as a yes. I'm seeing nods. So
Yes.
Without further ado, I call on Toastmaster Gary Newbert.
Shay, do we want to do the polls first for the?
Are the polls ready?
They're ready.
Okay. I'll be launching the polls.
Please try to use the word of the day, conquer.
The polls are closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Toastmaster Gary Newbert.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. As we mentioned in the introduction, I'll be challenging members that do not have a major speaking role and some of our guests with a 1 to 2 minute impromptu speech. I will repeat the topic 2 times before calling on the speaker. So please be super present when I'm giving the topic so that if I call on you, you know what the topic is. Timer, please demonstrate the timing signal for table topics. Toastmaster Michelle.
It's 1 to 2 minutes, Michelle. And you're also on mute. So
Thank you, Toastmaster. Table topics, Gary. The table topics 1 to 2 minutes. I'll display the green at 1 minute, the yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red at 2 minutes, and I'll clap off gently at 2.31 seconds. Toastmaster of the day, table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Michelle. I encourage each member to utilize as much of the 2 minutes as possible. The table topics reflects the theme of the meeting. The theme of the meeting today is the big ripple effect. Please use the word of the week, conquer, in your impromptu speeches as well. The first topic for this evening: what decision have you recently made that has had or will have a ripple effect on your life? What decision have you recently made that has had or will have a ripple effect on your life? Toastmaster Woodland.
The decision I made that's had a ripple effect in my life is joining Toastmasters, because as a like Micheline, I'm an introvert, so I'm not very comfortable with public speaking. And right now I'm doing my best to say what I gotta say off my chest. And I don't regret the choice that I made. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Woodland. We're very glad to have you with us. Next topic this evening is: what person have you met in your life that has had a ripple effect or a lasting effect on you? What person have you met in your life that has had a lasting or ripple effect on you? Toastmaster Ray Melendez.
Oh, I'm unmuted already. Okay, so this is great. So what person, sorry, one more time. What person have you met in your life that you believe has had or will have a ripple or lasting effect on you? Yeah, so what person I would have a ripple effect on me or has had a ripple effect on me? I could tell you right now it's been my father. My father itself has been the one person that I've actually looked up to, that believe it or not, you've learned within the years that I was living with him, how I've picked up habits from him, good and not so good. And, now as myself as a father as well, I tend to realize that I've taken a lot of these habits on here, and I've been passing them on to my own kids on there. My take here is just that he has been someone that I've always looked up to, and he has been also someone that I've continued to learn from at this point in life. Toastmaster of the day. Nope.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ray. The next topic this evening is, what action have you done recently that will have a ripple effect for you? What action have you done recently that will have a ripple effect on you? Toastmaster Sonia.
Thank you, Table Topics Master. What action have I done recently? Well, I'll be honest. The most recent action was I bought a new washing machine, and it's spectacular. Now, you think a washing machine is not a big deal, but you use it frequently and you rely on it so much. And I didn't realize that until my washing machine broke on Thanksgiving Day. Now, after Thanksgiving Day, you typically have a long weekend and you relax. And what did I do? I spent all of Black Friday, all of Super Saturday, I'm not even sure what we call Sunday anymore, shopping for a new washing machine, which apparently is not as easy as you would think. And this will have an impact on my family because hopefully it'll keep us a little bit less germ-free. Probably not so much because I have 2 boys and a small baby. So there'll always be germs, but a little bit less. And it'll be something that I plan to use, and it's going to have a ripple effect on my family, hopefully for more than the warranty period. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonia. Next topic for this evening is, what challenge have you recently conquered? What challenge have you recently conquered? Guest theory.
Hello, can everyone hear me? Great, thank you for that. So the challenge that I've recently conquered is my ability to diversify my food menu at home since the pandemic has begun. I wanted to, for a long time, post on social media things that were of interest, and I've always had a passion for cuisine. But what I wanted to conquer was the ability to cook within the house restaurant-made meals. And so with that notion and an old dream of being a chef, I started a feed called Le Chef Thierry. And my creativity, along with my passion for technology and passion for food, allowed me to create a post or a feed to where I would display different cuisines or things that I cooked on a day-to-day basis, or weekly, so on and so forth. So with that, I conquered how to make homemade pizza, homemade pasta, as well as sushi, and a variety of different foods that are available here in Canada, being that it is so diverse. So that was the biggest challenge, was to overcome the boredom of the same recipes and applying some creativity and learning a skill inherently that would benefit me and the people that are closest to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Guest Theory. I think is the time for one more. Okay, I take it as a yes.
Yes.
What does it mean to you to be a conqueror? What does it mean to you to be a conqueror? Guest Denny.
Thank you, Toastmaster. What it means to be a conqueror. For me, that's a mind state. It's an attitude. It's a deep down belief that no matter what challenge or anything that tries to impede your progress will not prevail. And you will conquer it. You will defeat it. You will triumph it. And you will achieve what it is that you desire, truly deep down. So that's what it means to truly be a conqueror to me. And I am a conqueror. Thank you very much. Thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Denny. This concludes the table topics portion of our meeting. Give it back to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Shay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gary. Awesome table topics and awesome responses as well. This is the third section of our meeting, evaluations, the gift of instant feedback, a key part of the success of Toastmasters program. Please welcome Toastmaster Justin Gwynn.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. And before we move on to our third section of today's meeting, may I please have a timer's report on the table topics?
Toastmaster Justin, all table topics presenters were on time. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. Don't go off mute yet. As we go into our evaluation section, timer, may you please demonstrate the timing signals for the evaluations?
For the timing of the evaluation, it's 2 to 3 minutes. The green card will be demonstrated at 2 minutes, the yellow card at 2.30 minutes, and the red at 3 minutes. And I'll clap the speaker off gently at 3.31 seconds. Toastmaster of the day. General evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Michelle. For our first evaluation tonight, evaluating Toastmaster Shastri, we have Toastmaster Stacy. Please welcome Toastmaster Stacy Kessler.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, our prestigious guests, and Mr. Shastri Stewart. Wow. What worked for you this evening, Shastri, is always your enthusiasm and the joy you bring to us as an audience. And this evening, I'm going to focus on 3 things that I feel worked this evening. Number 1 is relativity, having an understanding of our body. We all want to have an understanding of our body, especially at this point of our life when we're going through this challenging scenario of all of these infectious disease that they're calling the COVID. It's great to have a deeper understanding of our body. What I absolutely loved about your speech tonight is I felt like I was on a meditative journey going on a ride. I used to go to this museum when I was a little girl that took you through the body systems. You took us a whole nother level and had us feel like we were going on a journey through the body and we were part of the battlefield. And what were we here to conquer? We were here to conquer whatever dis-ease our body was willing to battle off. I felt that you did an incredible job with taking us through this journey. You gave us the purpose of what the immune system is, what it does. You went over the bone marrow, the lymphatic vessels, the lymph nodes. You shared with us what they were shaped like. So as I was on this journey on my ride, I understood that the lymph nodes were shaped like beans, so I could picture what the lymph nodes look like. Then you brought us through the breech ordering in the blood vessels. I felt like we were all called to feel the blood vessels at that point. And the messengers, who are the messengers? The proteins, and leaving the patrollers in the blood. You gave us a descriptive way of feeling like we were in someone's body tonight. The third thing I want to bring to your attention this evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, is his creativity with the metaphors that he used. Shastri, you used metaphors very much sequentially, effectively. Your vocal variety was excellent in the way that you shared with us. You made eye contact with each one of us. You used gestures in a very powerful, positive way. A couple things I may suggest is to utilize your background and maybe show the human body behind the background that you sat in this evening. You sat with your hands in front of you for a lot of your speech. I feel like utilizing hand gestures, showing us what it felt like to travel on the body could have been a really great point. Otherwise, Shastri, you were amazing as always. We love the ingenuity, the relativity, the joy, and the creativity you brought to us tonight. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and Shastri.
Thank you, Toastmaster Stacy. Evaluating Toastmaster Micheline, please welcome Toastmaster Mike.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm President, Toastmaster of the Day, and distinguished guests. And let me tell you, just like our President Shastri always looks forward to what kind of hairdo Micheline is going to bless us with tonight, well, I'm just as curious to see what topic she is going to choose for this evening. And before I get into my evaluation, I want to publicly acknowledge you and recognize how you're conquering the boundaries of your comfort zone, Micheline. As a relatively new member, not so new anymore, of this group, I have witnessed your progression, both in your delivery, both in your choice of topics, and also in your posture and in your presence. And you did not disappoint tonight. We kept seeing the progression going. It was an excellent story, very relatable. I really liked how you brought us into your story, even when you described how you went to school and how you kept seeing the signs, and whether it was online or the teachers or your experiences or what brought you to this club. Also, in addition to what brought you to this club, what you got out of the club. So it made it very hard for me to find anything to give feedback on. If I may, however, have a couple of suggestions. You have such a great presence and you have such potential, and I could still tell that you're climbing to reach that potential. I would recommend a little bit more usage of your body language to embrace your presence that you're projecting upon us. The other thing too is when you transition from one phrase to the other, you do such a great job delivering and you captivate us and you draw us in, and the click of the tongue at times when you catch your breath. So you could just keep that in mind, and I think that would assist on your journey of improving your delivery. But otherwise, the vulnerability of what you got, out of the club, and also the captivity of how much you kept us engaged made it very hard for me to want to stop and take notes, because you did such a great job captivating everyone and giving us, your authenticity. So thank you, Micheline.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mike. And finally, evaluating Toastmaster Mark, we have Toastmaster Brennan. Please welcome Toastmaster Brennan.
Everybody hear me okay? Thumbs up? Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests, and especially Mr. Mark Kessler. Mark, I got to say, you conquered tonight. And one thing, especially being your mentor, it's a privilege to watch you stand up, to sit in front of your audience, and to deliver a message that comes from your heart. And I know when we initially first started talking, you said you were very focused on the humorous path, and there were certainly a couple pieces you wanted me to keep an eye on. So I just wanted to be very keen to that and just really touch on those pieces, because what I love about you when you speak, and you come up and you have this beautiful smile on your face and just passionate energy. And one of the best things that I think that you do as a Toastmaster, Mark, is that you start off with a great question. And not only do you start off with a question, which really gets the audience engaged, but then you ask progressive questions throughout your speech, which is a phenomenal tool. It's a phenomenal way to engage your audience, to get them to raise their hand, to get them to stay focused. So I love that, especially your speed and your pace. So you brought us through a story from the very beginning that was very easy to follow. And just a personal favorite of mine is really leveraging 3 topics. And like even like your lovely wife, Stacy, when she talked tonight, she went over 3 topics because 3 is a very easy, recognizable 1 bullet, 2 bullet, 3 bullets that people can take away at the end of the day. And even going over yours, right? So you said that you were young and ambitious. It was quick money fast. It was really the least amount with the most amount of fun. So it's very relatable, all 3 of those topics, which I thought were fantastic for you to touch on, because there's a lot of different age variety in this group of Toastmasters. So from the younger ones, they can definitely, they can latch on to that. From the ones that are a bit more seasoned, they can latch on to that. So you take us from where you started all the way through kind of where you've been and the journey through that. And I love that I got to laugh through that piece, and especially as people are whacking golf balls at Mark. And so internally I'm like, yeah, I might have either done that in my past when I was young, or if I had to be the guy on the golf cart, like I can relate to that. So I'm like, oh no, not the golf balls. So it's like I was totally in it, and I loved how you brought us into that world, and I really appreciated that. And, especially there was an excellent use of humor, I think, through the entire thing from start to finish. And I heard nudist colony. So all of a sudden my eyes just went super wide. I'm like, okay, where is this going? So that certainly brought me in. And, with that, you related to jobs that probably most of us on here have had in some form or fashion. That might've been the waiter or whatever that might've looked like. You also integrated a quote, which I thought was fantastic. You brought in stats that were easy for us to laugh at. Yeah, 100%, 2% on Monday, 30% on Thursday, and like the whole piece. So, it was definitely like, oh, okay, that was really witty. That was very clever. And I love that, how you did all that. My only recommendation would be just be very aware of your body language. That is a lot of how you bring yourself to the speech. So maybe stand back a little bit next time. Outside of that, you brought in the ripple effect, the theme of the meeting. Fantastic job, Mark. I know you're on a tremendous path, and I look forward to your next speech. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Brennan. And thank you all to all of our evaluators. I believe now that the voting is ready for both table topics and potentially for evaluations. So Ray, do you want to tee that up? Okay, hopefully everybody's had a chance to submit their votes.
3, 2, 1. All right.
Great, thank you, Ray. Toastmaster Han, may I please have the grammarian report?
Certainly, my pleasure. Mr. General Evaluator, I took a lot of notes. I am going to go over real quick. Shastri, I heard a couple times now as a filler word. I am guessing our counter will comment on that. The use devour was very good, and your analogy of a human body to battlefield was very good. Why is the purpose of this? It should be what is the purpose of this? Michelin, your 3 to 4 minute speech, I like the way you said, I am a proud introvert. Never heard that word, proud introvert. Usually introverts are saying, well, I'm an introvert. But you said proud introvert, very good. And you said despise, I like that word. And here is a the sequence of tenses. I wanted a small group I can fit in. Should be, I wanted a small group I could fit in. And I like the way you said, I'm a better version of myself because of you. Mark, wonderful. I like the way you said, Friday will come. Yes, thank you. And I really kind of enjoyed it. Why don't we just say, I really enjoyed it? Take kind of out. And Gary, I like the way you repeated the theme, big ripple effect in your questions. And in the end, you also threw in the word of the day, conquer, so that the respondents can also use that word. Woodland, you said, I am not very comfortable in public speaking. Pretty soon, before you know it, you are going to say, I am comfortable in public speaking. Sonia, you used the ripple effect. And when you said ripple effect, more than the warranty period, that was a surprise use of ripple effect. Well done. Theory, I love the way you said homemade pizza, homemade pasta, homemade sushi. Who does not like homemade anything? Then Danny, prevail, defeat. I love the word choice that you had. Stacy, of course, Stacy has this very poetic usage of language, journey through the body, and also the word ingenuity you used. And here is one word that it sounded awkward to me, very much sequential. It is either sequential or not. Mike, you said embrace your presence. Very well done. Brandon, you were able to throw in the theme, ripple effect at the end of your evaluation. Well done, thank you very much. Word of the day, conquer was used many times. Congratulations. Micheline used it. Theory, where are you? You used it, I think 3-4 times. Well done. Gary used it because he was a table topics master. He had all the freedom to use it as many times as he wanted. 3-4 times. Danny, you used it a lot also. Where are you, Danny? 3 times, 4 times. Stacy, Mike, Brendan, everybody, well done.
Thank you, Toastmaster Young Green. Toastmaster Sonia Garate, can you please provide your all-counter report?
Yes, I can. So tonight, the most commonly used filler actually has a tie. We have a lot of you knows, we have a lot of ums, and we have a lot of ahs. I think the you knows, though, sneak out ahead of all the others. So far, we have about 27 fillers used as of this point. And a big round of applause to Toastmaster Mark and Toastmaster Gary, who I have not heard any filler words from as yet. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonia. Okay, moving on now to my report. Meeting started on time. All guests were welcome. Even the guest who missed was captured. So that was a good job by our Toastmaster of the day. The bell, I never heard the bell. I don't know if anybody else heard the bell, but I didn't happen to hear the bell. I don't know if that's still a problem with Zoom or what that is, but I definitely didn't hear it. In terms of the timing and asking for the times for the speeches, obviously we need to do better in communicating that, especially when we don't have the ones that are 5 to 7 minutes. When those are the other ones that we are 3 to 4 minutes, we need to try to make sure that's clearly communicated so the timer knows to put up the screen things. Table Topics Master, great job, thought-provoking questions, got the order right of calling out the different individuals. The participants for Table Topics as well did a fantastic job. Woodland, man, before when you first came, man, you couldn't even get out a word, and now you're like moving forward and trying to go further and further. You did such a great job. Very happy for you. Very proud of you. Speech evaluators, all fantastic. Each of you were very clear. Each of you did very good hand gestures. Each of you were very passionate and your personality came out in your evaluation. So all the evaluators, you all did a fantastic job. I think it's gonna be it was hard to vote for the winner for evaluations. You all did a fantastic job. One thing I always try to remind our evaluators, evaluations should be providing feedback as opposed to giving advice. There's a difference between providing feedback and saying, hey, I noticed you were doing this versus, hey, you should do this instead. I think that's something that we need to try to work on in terms of evaluations, is try to just talk about what we're observing and communicate what we've observed and the feedback and provide that feedback on that, as opposed to trying to give our own advice and our own things of how we tend to work and the way that we like to give our evaluations. I think it's just important to provide feedback. Voting was ready on time. All counters report, grammarians report, also right on time and done a great job there. Altogether, great meeting. We should finish on time. So thank you very much. Before I sign off and give it back to our Toastmaster of the day, just on a personal note, many of you know and reached out. So thank you guys for reaching out to me earlier this week, or actually last week, when I gave my webinar that I had. It was 2,300 people across the US that I gave a webinar on. It was, it was kind of crazy. I spent a lot of time preparing for it, and certainly Toastmasters helped out me tremendously in preparing for that event and delivering that event, and a number of things. I got a lot of great feedback, all attributed to what I've done right here. So thank you to you all and the feedback and helping me grow and allowing me to do that. So signing off, back to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Shay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Justin. What a thorough evaluation as always, touching on all points and nothing was missed. At this time, I'd like to present the awards for Best Speech, Best Table Topics, and the Speech Evaluator of the Night. Ray, are you ready to make that announcement?
I am ready. In first place for formal speaker, give a round of applause to Mark Kessler. And in first place for best evaluator, we've got two, Stacy and Mike. Round of applause. And in first place for table topic, the winner is Theory. Great job, everybody.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ray Melendez. And back to you, President Shastri.
All right, thank you, Shay. If you guys can put your hands together for Shay, doing a wonderful job as being our Toastmaster of the day. Awesome job. All right, so I know that we're running a little behind, over actually on time, so I'll touch on our guests real quickly. All right, Mary Lou, since I missed you the first time, I'll start with you. Could you give us your key takeaways in a couple sentences or a few words, please?
Thank you for having me, Toastmaster of the Day, Table Topic Master, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and to you also, Toastmaster President. What I take away from today is the value of being vulnerable, open, and gratitude, and being able to hone all our skills together in a very safe environment where we can conquer, where we can be open and be also ready to speak in a matter of seconds, and to just be our best and speak clearly and to learn and to grow, and also to listen effectively, efficiently, and to take from that and to share and to speak and move forward. So I'm grateful to be a guest today, and I look forward to more future Toastmaster meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Lou. Thank you so much for being here. And Theory, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name correctly, but what were your key takeaways of our meeting? Briefly, a couple sentences or a few words.
Fellow Toastmasters, evaluators, and guests, today's takeaway was, to me, overcoming and conquering your fears of speaking. I heard of two individuals who are introverts, where speaking is not a natural endeavor, and I'm the opposite. I'm actually a proud extrovert. And so to me, it's the opposite of having to rein in some of that energy and organize those thoughts. So it's great to see the contrast. And to me, that was the most inspiring takeaway that I came across this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hopefully we see you back soon. On to Denny. Denny, a couple words, please, about your key takeaways about our meeting today.
Some of the key takeaways, was being attentive to our blind spots, right? Being aware that we're not always alert, self-awareness in speech, being aware of what it is that we're doing, saying, while addressing a person or a group of individuals. So self-awareness.
Thank you, Danny. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining us today. Sabir, if you could give us your key takeaways in a few words, please.
Sure. I saw heard a lot of speakers today. I'm an introvert as well. And to see different speaking styles, that I saw today, and also heard different, speakers. It was just good in terms of listening to people who have developed themselves. And I look forward to attending the meetings and getting most out of it.
Thank you, Sabir. Appreciate you. Hopefully to see you back soon. And we had one other guest that stuck in at the last minute. Wendy, if you can, I'm not sure when you joined, but if you could give us a key takeaway of the meeting today in a few words, please.
Thank you. I joined right during the evaluation, the evaluation of the evaluators, I think is where I came in. It was very informative. I'm looking forward to coming back again. I've attended one meeting at another time, and actually you were a beginner at that meeting. I clearly remember you and you're now the president. So that's a huge takeaway. So I'm going to end with that. And thank you. And I will see you back next week.
Yay,
Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate it. We appreciate you, definitely.
Not here, but she's here. Took her a year, but she's here.
More than a year, Stacy.
Yeah.
Way more.
That's awesome.
Be the benefit of the doubt, babe.
Thanks. Here I am.
I remember you
Thanks.
also, Wendy.
Thank you so much, Wendy. I appreciate you. And my key takeaway is that the introverts are taking over, and I'm happy to see that. I'd like to provide a few announcements. I know that we're running over a little bit, but next week is a very, very exciting meeting. We have a holiday theme where we'll have table topics, we'll have trivia, and we'll have a lot of participants. Why? Because our guests, I'm challenging you to invite at least one more guest to our meeting next week. All right, we'll have an ugly sweater contest dressed in the theme of the holidays, and then we'll have gift cards as well. So we'll welcome you all to join us next week, Monday the 14th. And lastly, we do have a training session on December 12th, which is Saturday, for our officers. So if you are interested in joining the officer training, I'll provide that information by email. I'll send that to you after the meeting. It's on Saturday. We have 3 sessions, 9 a.m., 11 a.m., and 2 p.m. It's only 1 hour. So it might be beneficial for you to join. With that said, If no one else, any of the officers or any of the members have anything to add, thank you all for joining us tonight and have a wonderful evening.
Good night, everyone.
Have a great week. Thank you.
Good night, Mark. Great speech, Mark.
Thank you, everyone.
Invite our mail. Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.